Hey everyone, and welcome to our Q&A presented by Just Love. I'm your host Paula Jane, and I'm talking to Judy Carroll. Judy is an internationally known author. Her books include The Zeta Message, Human by Day, Zeta by Night, and her most recent book, Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History. Welcome, Judy.
Hi Paula, hi everyone.
Today's episode will be the first in a series in which we will unravel the origins of humans on planet Earth. We will ultimately talk to the question of who is controlling us and why. This is a huge subject that can take us off into many directions. We will do our best to stay on track, and to do that, I will pose many questions for Judy to answer. You will find that some of the content that we covered has been addressed in previous Q&As. But as the saying goes, repetition is the mother of all learning.
Yes, Paula, you're so right. This is a huge and complex field, and humanity has been subjected to so much control, brainwashing and disinformation over so many millennia. It's funny because we talk about fake news now, but fake news has been going on here since the year dot. People put so much faith in ancient scriptures, but they also contain fake news in the way of deep misunderstandings, and they've also been badly misinterpreted. We only need to look at how much the version of the Lord's Prayer that we know today differs from the original Aramaic version we presented in episode 26 of our Just Love series. So yes, we sure do have a lot of information to unpack and uncover.
These episodes are timely as we expand in consciousness and ground ourselves more securely into the fifth world or fifth dimension. Significantly, what is being ushered in with this 5D consciousness is speaking our truth, being authentic, speaking up, and this can be done in love with grace and ease. More and more people are speaking their truth in this manner, and there are many messages causing an awakening in humanity right now. However, some of these beautiful messages are being censored, and so people are not being given the right to freedom of speech. This is the controllers at work. What we have to remember here, in the face of this playing out, is to choose love, lift our vibration, keep our energy high, and reclaim our power. Be a creator and leave the victim behind. There are no victims in the grand scheme of things. Everything is playing out perfectly. Be a witness and know that the light will prevail, and understand that violence is not the answer. Divine energy has got this. More and more secrets will be revealed, and it's all good. Isn't that right, Judy?
Absolutely right, Paula. Mother Earth is a school planet, offering maximum opportunities for her students, humanity, to master the universal art of creativity. Quantum physics is proving that we create our reality through our minds. And let's face it, the collective consciousness of Earth plane humanity is not creating a very pleasant future at the moment. In fact, to quote from Brenda Davies' book, Journey of the Soul, when the majority of people in any community or country embrace negativity, anger and violence, they manifest this collectively and produce mass conflict or war. Each of us has a responsibility to change our inner reality to one of peace, and in so doing help the whole universe move towards peace and paradise or hell. This is exactly where the controllers of our planet are taking us. It really is time for us to wake up to what's going on down here and take back our empowerment for our own sakes and for the future of our children and their children. But this cannot be done through violence. Encouraging acts of violence is just part of the divide and conquer technique of the controllers.
So getting back to the origins of humans on planet Earth, it has been said that the origins of humans comes from 4 different species of off-planet people, in which later more species have joined in. They are the Greys or Zetas, the Anunnaki, the Reptilians and the Whites. Can you comment on this please, Judy?
Yes, first up I'd like to quote our Essassani Zeta friend Bashar. As Bashar so rightly says, it's not this or that, but rather this and that. In other words, we're all presenting a version of the truth, but just approaching it from different perspectives.
Judy, can you please remind our listeners of who our Esatani Zeta friend Bashar is, and where does Bashar come from?
Bashar is a multidimensional being who has spoken for over 30 years through his channel, Carroll. Bashar is an Essassani Zeta, which is a culture that is being created through the current hybrid program. The Ethicines are Earth-human Zeta Reticulan hybrids that are expressing the best of both cultures coming together in oneness. Bashar has provided a massive amount of information explaining how the universe works and how every one of us creates the reality we experience.
Thanks, Judy. Yes, Bashar certainly is a very wise and knowledgeable being. Is that wisdom from the future? Because you mentioned that Bashar is an Esatani Zeta, which is a culture that is being created through the current hybrid program. The Esatanis are Earth-human Zeta Reptilian hybrids that are expressing the best of both cultures coming together in oneness.
The wisdom is eternal and is there for all of us to tap into once we're able to access more of our conscious awareness. This will happen when we have more of our so-called junk DNA activated, which is what a lot of off-planet contact is about. This is what's happening on Earth as part of the planetary shift. More and more people down here are waking up to a bigger picture of reality.
Okay, Judy, can you now give us the download that Morris passed on recently, clarifying the terms, the labels of Zeta and Greys?
Yes, as Morris explained, there are 3 levels of so-called greys, and they span the whole universal human ladder, which is the cycle of human evolution from physical to angelic. The main ones working with Earth plane humanity have evolved from many star systems and have moved past the need for physical form. Gross physicality only occurs on the lower rungs of the human ladder. In the greater reality, we are all pure energy forms, soul consciousnesses that are choosing to experience physicality for the span of lifetimes. As we evolve to higher frequencies of universal energy, we move past the need to experience physicality. However, all higher universal creator-type beings who are carrying out work with physical planetary cultures such as humans of Earth have to put themselves into a body, or what they term a soul container, to enable them to interact down here. It's exactly like how our astronauts have to wear a special suit when they leave Earth's atmosphere. The preferred container is modelled on the insectoid Zeta Reticulan form, which can withstand space travel and higher G-forces, being much stronger, simpler and less vulnerable than a biological human body. Examples of different planetary cultures manifesting down here in grey containers are Sherry Weil's teacher Da, who identifies himself as Andromedan, Valerie Burrows' Pleiadians, who are illustrated in their grey containers in her Alcheringa book, and Adrian de Vere's E.T. healer friend X3, who was introduced in his book Healing Entities and Aliens, and is identified as Assyrian and shown as a grey. Earth humans have created God and the angels in their own image, modelled after the Aryan ideal of tall, blonde, blue-eyed perfection. But this is a myth. Higher beings prefer to use the grey form to carry out work on planets such as Earth. These beings can tap into the image that Earth humans have in their minds of what an angel should look like, and will show themselves that way. But when work is involved, the grey form is more practical. So the first level of greys can potentially be from any higher universal culture right up to angels. The second level, who are a bit lower down the human ladder and therefore still operating through physical forms, are the Zetas, based in the Zeta Reticulan star system. There are around 30 different cultures in this system, and all are insectoid humans as opposed to the mammalian-based humans of Earth. The greys who were involved in the Roswell incident were Zetas or Zeta hybrids. The third and lowest level of greys are the ones I call the ant people. All greys are evolved from insectoids, generally higher ants or mantises. They are human, but I use the term grey to differentiate them from mammalian humans. The ant people were a very early Earth-human species created by higher insectoid ant and mantis creator beings who were one of the groups responsible for seeding human life on Earth. The ant people mainly lived underground, and they were responsible for developing and maintaining ecosystems and creating biodiversity on the planet. They worked hand in hand with nature, spirit, elemental energy, and had advanced technology and genetics passed down to them from the creator beings, which enabled them to do this type of work. The ant people of Earth bred very freely and ended up overpopulating the planet. They also started experimenting with genetic technology which outpaced their level of spirituality. Warring between two separate groups occurred, with a situation arising that was a carbon copy of the present-day Earth-human situation. They ended up causing a cataclysm which almost destroyed them. This left a deep emotional trauma within the collective consciousness of the group, who were supposed to be here as caretakers and gardeners of the Earth, but who went so far as to destroy an entire planetary environment with their uncontrolled emotion and technology. In remorse, they set about removing emotion from their psyche, but went too far, becoming almost robotic. This trauma has been held within the grey soul group to this day, but is now being healed through the genetic exchange program. Millennia passed, but the lesson hadn't been learned at that stage, and overpopulation began again. By this time, another genesis event had occurred, that of the Repterans, an Earth-human culture developed by draconian creator beings out of a biped dinosaur species. Now war broke out between the insectoid humans of Earth and the reptoid humans of Earth over control of the planet. The ant people had been here first, but the Repterans were more aggressive. The Repterans won, driving most of the ant people off planet. Higher creator beings stepped in to assist them to resettle on the moon. Some did remain on Earth, hidden in deep underground caves and tunnels, and badly oppressed by the Repterans. The Repterans carried out an ethnic cleansing program on the ant people, causing them to lose their ability to reproduce. Others were captured and interfered with genetically by being forced to crossbreed with the Repterans. The resulting insectoid-reptoid hybrids were then cloned and fitted with implants to control them, thus they became biorobots. These are the programmed life forms still in existence today that Dr. Stephen Greer refers to as PLFs, programmed life forms. The Repteran controllers still continue to produce these beings using genetic material taken from genuine Zeta bodies retrieved by the military from crashed ships. The ant people who did manage to survive and avoid this fate have now evolved to higher existences. Many of the present-day Zetas are ex-Earth humans from this group. When the ant people lost their ability to reproduce biologically, they created the non-biological or part biological containers based on their biological forms to enable them to continue to experience life on Earth and to interact with the physical environment. These containers have since been improved, enabling any higher off-planet being to make use of them as sort of spacesuits. This concept of a human consciousness being able to place itself into such a container was illustrated very well in the Avatar movie. The hybrid program being carried out on Earth now by Zetas and other higher greys is to assist both present-day Earth humans and the remaining ant people who suffered at the hands of the Repterans. These ant people are the mutated Earth human species that Bashar refers to as needing help. The higher evolved greys, some of whom have evolved from this group, can clearly see present-day Earth humans heading down the same path. So the hybrid program is designed to help both groups to heal and rebalance. It's designed to help Earth humans to balance their level of technology and development with higher spiritual development, and will also help to humanise the bioengineered ant people who lost their ability to experience and understand emotion and to reproduce naturally because of the mutation that occurred at the hands of the Repterans. Unfortunately, the Repterans are still incarnating down here and still controlling the mutated ant people, which are used in the MyLabs. The fake DT abductions carried out by the military on Earth are also producing hybrids, which are often mistaken for genuine off-planet hybrids. On the other hand, the Essassani Zetas are a product of the legitimate healing and humanising hybrid program. People down here lump all the greys together under one label, when in reality they span many cultures, from the almost robotic Earth plane manufactured and mutated PLFs, right up to highly evolved angelic type beings who have evolved from many planetary cultures.
Wow, that's an awful lot of information to take in. It seems to me that an understanding of the human ladder is absolutely essential, as it underpins the whole concept that Maris is talking about. I know it has 10 levels, and these levels are referred to as galactic levels.
Yes, but this is just a term used by the Greys, which can be a bit confusing. These are not physical levels or places as such. They're actually ascending and expanding levels of conscious awareness through which all human-type cultures evolve.
Okay, yes, and here on Earth we are at level 1 of the ladder, meaning that we have access to 10% of consciousness. Is that correct?
Exactly. And this also means that we have approximately 10% of our potential DNA activated. The amount of awakened conscious awareness and the amount of activated DNA are intrinsically linked. It's also super important to understand that here we're not talking about brain, but rather consciousness. This could be compared to the heart and lungs being the physical organs that distribute the air we breathe through the body, but they are not the air. The brain is the physical organ through which we're able to access conscious awareness.
Right, in other words, we're talking about two different levels, physical and beyond physical.
Exactly. The air we breathe and our conscious awareness are both of a higher and finer energy frequency.
Okay, got it. And the universal human ladder has 10 galactic levels on which are many places, worlds and cultures on the different levels. For example, there are many other places existing on level 1, not just here on Earth, and the same goes all the way up to level 10. Would it be accurate to call these other places on the various levels dimensions?
Yes, because the human ladder spans many dimensions of reality, way beyond the 3D concept of reality that we're familiar with on Earth. The main group of Greys working with Earth plane humanity have evolved from many star systems and have moved past the need for physical form. Gross physicality only occurs on the lower rungs of the human ladder. In the greater reality, we are all pure energy forms, soul consciousnesses that are choosing to experience physicality for the span of lifetimes. As we evolve to higher frequencies of universal energy, we move past the need to experience physicality. However, as was explained earlier in Maris's information that I've just read out, all higher universal creator type beings who are carrying out work on level 1 with physical planetary cultures such as humans of Earth have to put themselves into what they call a soul container to enable them to interact down here, just as our astronauts have to wear a special suit when they leave Earth's atmosphere. The preferred container for the star people is modelled on the insectoid zeta reticulum form, which is much stronger and less vulnerable than the biological human body.
Thanks, Judy. Again, so much information to take in. In our next episode, we will continue to unpack the origins of humans of Earth, starting with how the Greys are working with Earth plane humanity right now. So we look forward to that. Just to remind our listeners, Judy's books are available through Amazon and Kindle. If you enjoyed this video, please share with your family and friends. And thanks for listening. Bye for now.